Hello YouTube, Goddard Radio Moscow here again with another beer review for you as is usual. So for this one we are going to come back to Scotland and we're going to visit the Cairngorm Brewery. And the reason we're doing this one, this isn't part of my Scottish Beer Month, I'll be doing a different Cairngorm beer for that. But the reason we're going to go and do it this one just now is that I was told that the Cairngorm Brewery had just celebrated, or the Cairngorm National Park had just celebrated its 10th year since its creation. So there's a beer to commemorate this from the Cairngorm Brewery, and this is the Caillie beer. It's the exact same beer as the Caillie is normally, but it has a very special label to celebrate this 10th anniversary. So as is usual then with my beer reviews, I'll take you through a very brief history of the brewery. As always, if you simply are interested in the tasting, just fast forward a few minutes and you will get straight to that section. The brewery website's in the video description for you below, as are the links to my other Cairngorm reviews which will be added to in the near future. So anyway, the Cairngorm Brewery Company was established back in 2001 and it's located in the village of Aviemore in the Cairngorms National Park in the west of Scotland. A very popular ski resort actually among Scottish people. But the brewery has won numerous awards. It's probably one of the most decorated Scottish craft breweries actually. But they say they like to keep traditional recipes alive, similar to Williams Brothers in Alloa, one of my local breweries, as well as experimenting, if you like, with new recipes and different malt and hop varieties. And they also like to add little twists to their beers as well. But the brewhouse currently has a 20 barrel capacity which can produce 6,500 litres of ale per day, and most of their beers, both the seasonal and year round, are all available in half-litre bottles like this one here. But you can go for tours of the brewery at 2:30 every day, Monday to Friday, and the brewery shop is open Monday to Saturday every week, and on Sundays it's open as well from April to October. So with the brewery being located in a national park, they're quite keen on supporting several conservation charities. This includes the Red Squirrels and the Wildcats, and they have they also support some local disabilities charities and sports charities as well. And a number of their beers actually have a portion of the proceeds from the sale donated to all these charities. This one donates to a charity here, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But they also have on the website, it tells you about the local hostels and bars and things where you can actually go and drink their beers as well. So they have a really good website there. Definitely check that out if you do have a little bit of time. But just to list the other beers you can get from these guys, they do have quite an extensive range. In the regular range you get the Caillie, which is a sort of golden ale bitter beer. This guy here, you have the Ginger Rodent, which is a continental golden brew as they call it, Trade Winds, which is a golden ale with wheat and elderflower, Wildcat, which is a bitter, Black Gold, which is a stout, Stag, which is a dark bitter, Cairngorm Gold, which is a lager, Nessie's Monster Mash, which is a malty amber ale, Blessed Thistle, which is a red ale filtered through thistles, Sheepshagger's Gold, which is a continental golden ale, and Autumn Nuts, which is a red ale. In their seasonal range you can get the Winter Flurry, which is a bitter, Santa's Sledgehammer, which is a Christmas ale, I think I've reviewed that one for you, Howler, which is a strong ale, Mountain Blue, which is the golden ale, and Witch's Cauldron, which is a red ale, and also the Highland IPA. So that's your kind of list of the different beers you can get from these guys. To move on to this one itself, this is a 3.8% sort of golden ale, bitter ale hybrid if you like. The Cairngorm's Nature project, the description they give on this one, they say the Cairngorm's Nature is a new project launched on Saturday 18th of May by this Cairngorms National Park, authority for environmental projects in the park. We are supporting Cairngorm's Nature like we do the Highland Tiger project and the sales of Wildcat by donating money for every bottle of Caillie sold. So they're donating the money from this guy. I think it's about 20 pence or something like that, or 20% of the sale of the brewery actually goes to support these different charities, or the sale of each beer. So it's quite cool in that sense. As I say, Scotland obviously, we're very, very kind of proud of our national heritage and stuff like that, and of our kind of natural beauty if you like, so we like to preserve it, and these guys kind of help along with that. But I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork of this bottle. Quite an interesting one. As I say, it's different from the normal one. That's a ptarmigan, or a grouse as you might know it, that's on the bottle of this one, I believe. And you can see here it's the special label for the 10th anniversary. The light's kind of hitting off that a bit. It says on the bottom, pale malts, New World hops. It's a 3.8% kind of golden ale bitter one. It says on the side, Caillie, pale and golden with subtle malt background and a long-lasting citrus hop bitterness. Smooth with lots of condition, a refreshing light hoppy sessions ale, supporting Cairngorm's Nature projects. And it says, brewed in the Highlands of Scotland, respect alcohol. You can just see on the side there, it's quite cool. Respect alcohol, of course. In Scotland, we do tend to get a little bit carried away, but usually we're quite well behaved people. We don't like to smash things up too much unless you're a very stupid person. So yeah, let's get this guy out and get on with the tasting here. As I said, a 3.8% golden ale. Some people have described it as a bitter, so we'll soon find out. So as you can see, a nice smoky opening there. We'll get this guy out and into the glass. It's been a while, I was just thinking that, it's been a while since I reviewed my last Cairngorm beer, but I'm going to be doing two in kind of quite quick succession, if you like, with this Scottish Beer Month that I'm just going to start in the next few days for you. You can see it's pouring a really beautiful golden colour. One thing I forgot to show you actually was the bottle cap for this one. You can see it there, it's the same as was on the top of the label. I'll just stick that there now. But we'll get this guy out and I'll let you have a look at the colour and everything of it. You can see I've got a nice German head on this one. The Germans love a nice big sort of convex head on their beer. Just set this back down there so you can see it. But I'll bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the colour of this beer. As you can see, if I just bring the light up a little bit, kind of a really nice kind of pale golden straw. Just a tiny little bit of haze in this one, but mainly kind of clear. You can see my fingers if I put it through the back. A solid finger and a bit of a frothy white head on there. There's a good bit of carbonation visible in this one, which is pretty good. So it should be nice and crisp, which is what you would want from a kind of golden ale, slightly bitter hybrid. So let's put the light back down and we'll get on with the aroma and the tasting of this one. So from this one, you're getting a kind of quite mild aroma actually. I find that with these Cairngorm beers, they do tend to be very mild in the aroma actually. But you've got some kind of grainy and bready malts in there you're picking up. There is a sort of definite kind of grain and cereal character to this one, which is kind of what you expect from a little bit of a bitter. Not so much from a golden ale, I would say. But you've got some kind of nice yeasty character in there too. You can smell the sort of sweet bready yeast in here. But there is quite a bit of citric character. The citrus character is the main thing that's kind of coming out. And you can just pick up a little bit of caramel malt under there. But it's quite as simple, and it's, as I say, I find it's quite difficult to pick up the little elements in the aroma there. Because it is, they do tend to make their beers with a very kind of mild aroma, but that's not really something you can control too well in brewing as far as I'm aware. But yeah, it seems quite interesting, and their beers are good, so let's give it a taste and see how we get on. The aroma's not such an important thing, more the taste we're interested in. Yeah, this is a nice one actually. You see what I mean? It is a very kind of hoppy and zesty brew, this one is what they were describing it as, and it definitely fits that bill. So you're getting a nice kind of citrusy and grassy hop character coming out, but it's quite well it's kind of blended a lot with a kind of cereal spicy character to it, this one. It's definitely, it is somewhere between a golden ale and a bitter, this one. The cereal spice makes me want to say a little bit more of a bitter beer than a golden ale actually. But yeah, definitely it's more, I'm not sure if the kind of spice you're getting from this one, it does have a little tiny bit of an earthy character to it as well actually, so it's more of a hoppy spice I guess you're getting from this guy. But that spice character just sits in the kind of front middle of the tongue. Around the edges you're getting that kind of citrus, very fresh kind of citrus grassy feel to the beer. You've got this kind of underlying sort of biscuity and kind of slightly caramel malt actually in this one, which is quite interesting. You are getting a little bit of the caramel malt just around the back, just up at the back of the tongue, and it adds a nice little bit of sweetness to the beer. Yeah, there is definitely a kind of, within that bread, there is definitely a little bit of a spice character, which is what you would expect from a bitter beer. But I do think the hops that are used in this one are probably contributing to that as well. I'd be really interested to know exactly what hops they use in their beer. That's one thing they don't have on their website, so it would really be interesting to see that. Then you can pick up usually whether there is an element of kind of aromatic spice in these if you know the hops that are in this. But that spice character, it is somewhere between being a sort of cereal spice and being a peppery spice. It's kind of right in the middle there. But yeah, a big kind of bready yeast. It's slightly sweet actually, but mainly kind of pushed back by the sort of spicy character, the sort of peppery and cereal spice that you're getting from this one. There's a nice little bit of grassy and citric character to it as well. But I mean, overall, it's very interesting. I mean, it's got that nice little bit of caramel in there, a little bit of biscuity malt as well. It kind of blends very well together, but it is somewhere between being a golden ale and being a bitter. I think it leans more towards the bitter side with all that spice character in it and the bready malt, and it's the fact that it's more malty rather than being a bit more hoppy is what kind of makes me say more of a bitter than a golden ale. But it's an interesting beer nonetheless. I mean, in terms of the mouthfeel of this guy, I'd say it's mid-bodied, and it's the malt character that really pushes it towards that. The spice makes it feel quite full. That sort of cereal spice, it does make it feel a little bit fuller than it probably is. But it's quite a fine carbonation in this one. That aids the spice flavours coming out as well. But it's quite crisp, and it does have a good little bit of dry character from the hops, and obviously the hops are quite present in it because it does have quite a strong citric grassy character. But I mean, as I say, we can sit and debate about styles all the time, but the most important thing is that the taste of it is actually quite nice. It's a really quite interesting one, and if you like a sort of that kind of hybrid between a golden ale and a bitter, and you like a nice little bit of spicy character within your bready malts in these beers, this is definitely one you should check out. And the Cairngorm's beer, most of their beer is really nice, and pretty much everything I've tried myself personally is really good. A lot of people say that most of their beer is pretty good, and they've won these awards for a reason, obviously. So if you do get the chance, try this beer from the Cairngorm Brewery. Congratulations to the Cairngorms National Park on their sort of 10th year of since their inception, if you like. So very, very cool to be able to review this beer for you before I start my Scottish Beer Month. The one that I'll be reviewing from these guys for that Scottish Beer Month is Black Gold. I really want to review their stout, which is meant to be really kind of top notch. So I look forward to reviewing that beer for you. Please subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more Cairngorm reviews, or indeed you're interested in Scottish beer reviews. I hope you found this beer review informative, and please let me know in the comment section your own thoughts on this beer if you do happen to have tried it. And please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will catch you soon with another beer review. Cheers!